What up? It's your What Incredible Man. Yes, I'm back at it again, and I just watched Vinland Saga episode 16, and this is my discussion slash review, man. Dude, it was wonderful, man. I enjoyed it. Just like last week's episode, it was a nice, calm episode until it wasn't anymore. Until it got to that specific point to where it wasn't calm anymore, and that's what this episode was. It was a very nice, calm, cool episode throughout, and till like the torture came in and us running into THORKELL and us having a mutiny on our hands. So like it was a nice calm episode until it wasn't, and then when it wasn't anymore, that's when everything started just falling like dominoes because so much stuff started happening at the same time and all in transition. So let's get right into the episode, man. Dude, it was absolutely wonderful. Like I said, I loved it. So this episode picked up right after last week's episode, and we see Askeladd telling Canute that Ragnar died valiantly, and that was a lie because dude did not die valiantly because he was ambushed by Askeladd, but he's telling Canute that so he can kind of rope Canute into doing and being a good leader or king. So I get why he done it, and I understand why he done it, but at the same time, it's so like, dude, with Askeladd, man, like, and taking it into consideration because this is Vikings, and they were like, they were some dangerous people. You can't. There's in this show, someone mentioned this. They're not definitive good guys. There's no definitive good guy. It's your own perspective, how you see things, and just you have to kind of just take it with the punches. I mean, because there's no definitive good guy. Everyone just they do good things in certain moments, and and that makes them good moments. That's it. I mean, there's no definitive good guy in this show. Not any of the cast that we're watching currently, anyway. So then we have Askeladd telling Canute that Ragnar fought valiantly until he was stabbed in the back. Dude, he didn't know. It's so sad. But at the same time, like, you hate Askeladd, like, for the moments and the things that he does. Like, I mean, you don't really set yourself up like for like seeing him in this light because you're gonna be disappointed. But he has these moments to where he's like, overall, he's such a wonderful character. For them to make you feel like you hate him at moments and love him at the same time, that's just great writing overall. Because if you can hate someone and love them at the same time, that's great writing. That's nothing but great writing for them to be able to create Askeladd as a character where you hate some of the things that he does, but you also love some of the things that he does, and that's just great writing overall. So we have him telling Canute that, and Canute's kind of struggling, and he's not really grasping the concept that Ragnar's not coming back. He was like, well, we was just having rabbit stew and having this good time, and no, and he's not really wrapping his head around what's going on. And we have Askeladd telling Thorfinn, you stay here with Canute from now on since Ragnar is no longer alive. Well, we know, yeah. So we get past that, and then we come in contact and we see, well, before we get there, we find out that Askeladd's plan to all of this, that he wants to follow a good leader. That's his thing. He wants to follow a good lord, and that's what he's going to try to turn Canute into. And him and Bjorn was having this whole pretty intellectual discussion about why Bjorn follows Askeladd and why Askeladd is so invested into having Canute go through all this drama and pain to make him a better leader. And Bjorn was like, well, why can't we just manipulate him now, because it'll be so much easier now. And Askeladd was like, no, I want a good leader. And I can understand where he's coming from with that, because I really want more Askeladd's backstory. But from the parts that we've seen and understanding him as a character, he pretty much does whatever he wants. But I could see him wanting to rest and relax and not live this kind of lifestyle anymore and just have a laid-back, easy life following a good leader. So I can see that. So then we find out that they've captured one of the English guards that was following them. And dude, this is one of those moments, because they end up torturing dude. Like some of the people, like they are beating the brakes off this dude, man. Like they are, like they busted all this up. His nose swole 10 times. His eyes almost shut. His mouth, everything is just battered. Dude is beat up. But then we have Askeladd coming over and he's asking them these questions. He wants to know, how did they catch up to them? How were they able to find out where they were? And how many men did they have? And dude wasn't telling them nothing. And we know from an onlooker's perspective that the reason they caught up with them and how far and everything, because of the girl. There was someone in the village that was left alive and you guys didn't know. And I was kind of hoping that the dude would tell, but I'm okay with it that he didn't tell, and I kind of actually prefer that he didn't tell. I kind of enjoy it more this way. And dude maybe should have told on his own though, because dude, Askeladd told him to fetch the shears. Dude didn't talk, and he was like, "Oh, Mr. Englishman, your fingernails are super long. And they're dirty. That's not healthy." So he's like, and I love the fact that they didn't show him cutting it. Like we heard the sound effect and we saw the shears with the blood on them, but then all of a sudden they pan away and then they pan back and we just see his finger missing the top part of the finger. I can feel that, man. That makes me feel it so much more instead of actually just seeing it being done. Just having the sound effect and then seeing his finger afterwards. I'm okay with that, man. That was bomb. And that's in that moment, like, you was like seeing this man being tortured by Askeladd, getting his fingers lopped off, or chopped off, I mean. And dude, in that moment, I hated Askeladd, but I enjoyed him as well because it was just that good. It was a fun thing to see and a sad thing to see, if you get where I'm coming from. So then we find out that the dude was like, well, Thorkell ears tells Askeladd that Thorkell's upon us. Like they're not too far out from us. So they decided to march and leave, but Canute wasn't ready to go. He couldn't leave Ragnar, and he was like, no, I'm not leaving Ragnar. He started pitching a fit, and Askeladd slapped him and was like, he's dead. If he was alive, he could come with us, but he's not. He's dead. And he was like, we don't have the time or the stuff to the weight and everything to move a dead body. We gotta go now. So long story short, they end up leaving. They're going, and some of the men tried to desert, and they were like, well, we're not really feeling what you're feeling. And this is where, and this is what I'm saying, because now in this moment you fall in love with Askeladd all over again. He was like, if you guys want to leave, you can leave. I'm not going to stop you. But the rest of us, we're moving on. So he left the ones that wanted to desert there. They come in contact with Thorkell. And dude lops body parts off, half of heads. Like, they showed all of that, man. Like, dude, arms and everything is just flying all across the camera and screen. And we've come to stay with you, Thorkell. We're not studying Askeladd. He started killing these dudes. He was like, I don't need weak people that's not willing to put up a fight in his little army or group or whatever. I bet you wish you stayed with Askeladd now, don't you? You're dead. So then we still have Thorkell following Askeladd, and he finally learned Askeladd's name, and then we're on our way following them. So then we jump back and we see Askeladd and troop, and they're marching and they cross a bridge, and Askeladd tells everyone to chop the bridge up so they can't follow them. And I understand it, but some of the dudes made a valid point. Like, the water's kind of shallow, so they can make their way across if they wanted to. But then Askeladd made a valid point. They'd have to leave their sleighs or the sleds. The sleds won't make it in the water like that. So they could either chase us for a day and then be out of food and be hungry, or find another way to follow after us and give us more time to escape. But in this whole thing, more guys decided to betray Askeladd and to start a mutiny. And we have one of the brothers, the heavyset one, decided we're going to take the prince and we're going to betray Askeladd. But the funny thing is, that's why I keep loving, you gotta love Askeladd, man, because he was like, Bjorn, Thorfinn, come here. Go sit with the prince and be ready to move when I say so. Why? What's going on? And then Bjorn caught on real fast. He was like, Askeladd, you can't be serious. No, he was like, that's one of my skills. I can look at a man's face and tell. And he told the truth. Some of his men were plotting a mutiny, and they did it, man. They turned on Askeladd like it was nothing. And it was like, we're tired of marching. well, the heavyset brother led this whole thing, but he was like, we're tired of marching and we're not want to stay here anymore, and they were gone, and they were getting ready to attack Askeladd at that moment. But at that time, they saw Thorkell on the hill, and this man launched a spear. I'm not even going to guess how far it was, but he launched a spear from wherever he was up on a hill from a good distance to where they were, and took out 4 people. He impaled 4 people from that distance on a spear. Dude, this man is crazy strong. So then we have that happening, and Askeladd telling them, let's not worry about that. There's still a good ways out. We have to leave. And I'm honestly with some of these other people. Man, y'all saying not to be worried about this, but dude, we cannot not be worried about this. Look at this man. He is throwing spears from a huge distance. I need to do something, because what we're doing is not working. So, and then that's how the episode ends, is with them plotting the mutiny, and Thorkell being right upon them and everything. And I really wanted to wrap all of that up and go through that, because there was also another wonderful part of this episode that I enjoyed, and that was the history lesson that we got, learning about the Celts, the Romans, and the Saxons, which is like the English people now. And I'm gonna be real, I didn't know that, man. That is a nice story, that the Saxons didn't really have that land either. It belonged to the Celts, and the Romans and the Celts lived side by side, and the Romans even gave the Celts some of their technology to develop and better their living. And then the Saxons came and just ambushed and pushed the Celts out, and then stole it from them. So the Danes are doing the same thing that y'all done to someone else already. So it's kind of valid, just saying. But dude, I enjoyed this episode, and love him or hate him, you gotta be an Askeladd fan, man. And Thorkell may be the Incredible Hulk. I'm just saying. This is your buddy Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them. And subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.